Today, I'm going to share three incredible stories about hikers who survived against all odds. These aren't just tales of adventure, they're stark reminders of how quickly things can spiral out of control in the wilderness. Whether it's mistakes, bad choices, or sheer bad luck, these stories prove one thing: nature doesn't compromise. And that's why it's essential to prepare for the unexpected. Let's begin in the winter of 1989 with two hikers attempting to conquer the tallest peak in New York State, Mount Marcy. March 4th, 1989. Two men, Sean Durer, 25, and Ralph Vaillo, 29, from Pennsylvania, set out to summit Mount Marcy in the Adirondacks on cross-country skis. Their ambitious plan faced treacherous conditions from the start. Freezing rain at lower elevations, snow as they climbed higher, and plummeting temperatures soaking their clothes. A recipe for disaster. For those unfamiliar, the Adirondacks are as beautiful as they are brutal. With over 6 million acres of wilderness, the region is known for its unpredictable weather and rugged terrain. Mount Marcy at 5,044 feet is no exception. While its elevation might not sound intimidating compared to peaks in the Rockies, the Adirondack conditions often make it one of the most challenging climbs in the East. Despite their challenging start, Sean and Ralph managed to reach the summit. For any hiker, this moment is triumphant. But as experienced mountaineers say, the summit is optional. The descent is mandatory. That's when the real danger begins. In their case, the descent brought new horrors: whiteout conditions, freezing temperatures, and their inability to locate the trail back down. Imagine being completely surrounded by white. No markers, no sense of direction, just an endless void of snow and fog. After 2 hours of fruitless searching, they dug a shelter in the snow and covered themselves with pine branches, fighting off hypothermia. This was a crucial survival move. While pine branches aren't perfect insulation, they create a barrier between your body and the snow, which can sap heat rapidly. Their attempt to start a fire? Futile. Even $20 bills couldn't ignite in the wet conditions. A fire starter or waterproof matches could have changed everything. It's a hard lesson about always carrying the essentials, even on what seems like a well-planned day hike. The next day, splitting a single peanut butter and jelly sandwich, they continued their descent off-trail, only to be met with freezing rain and yet another frigid night outdoors. By Monday, temperatures dropped to a life-threatening 20 below zero, not accounting for wind chill. Their hands were so frostbitten, they discarded their trekking poles, unable to grip them. Finally, they stumbled upon a seasonal cabin near Lake Abenaki. Inside, they found firewood and a bright orange jacket, a beacon of hope they placed on the lake ice to signal rescuers. This was a pivotal moment. Bright colors, especially against a snowy backdrop, are easily spotted from the air and are one of the best ways to attract attention. Search efforts were already underway, and soon a helicopter spotted their makeshift SOS. After nearly 3 harrowing days, they were rescued, frostbitten but alive. Their survival hinged on sheer determination and the miraculous find of that cabin. While cold and snow dominated this story, let's now shift gears. Our next tale unfolds under the blazing desert sun, a reminder that extreme heat can be just as deadly. Fast forward to June 2023, Big Bend Ranch State Park, Texas. Jeff Hahn, a 59-year-old marketing executive, was hiking with his daughter. It was 107 degrees in the shade, unforgiving desert heat. For context, the human body begins to struggle at just 95 degrees when performing strenuous activity. Dehydration, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke become very real threats. Jeff and his daughter lost the trail and ran out of water. With no shade and the sun beating down, Jeff began cramping and could barely move. They decided to split up, a move often discouraged in survival situations, but in this case, it was their only option. Jeff stayed put under a rocky outcrop while his daughter went for help. Staying put didn't last long. As the sun shifted, his shade disappeared. Suffering from heat exhaustion and poor judgment, Jeff made the fateful decision to move. He stumbled upon an old mining shack where he discovered 2 1-liter bottles of water, a life-saving miracle. Finding water in the desert is like finding gold. It buys you time, and in Jeff's case, it kept him alive. Later, while trekking at night, he fell, breaking his wrist. But in this fall, he found another miracle, a pit filled with rainwater. Drinking from stagnant pools isn't ideal. It can lead to waterborne illnesses. But in life or death situations, hydration is priority number 1. It's a reminder of how survival forces us to make difficult choices. Finally, his last miracle came in a canyon where he found a small stream and tadpoles. Eating tadpoles might seem unthinkable, but protein is essential for energy in prolonged survival situations. Not long after, a search plane spotted him, and a rescuer's voice finally brought his ordeal to an end. Jeff survived by sheer willpower and resourcefulness, even when everything seemed stacked against him. Our final story takes us to Southern California in May 2001. George Null, an experienced 58-year-old hiker, set out for a 6-mile day hike on Waterman Mountain in Angeles National Forest. At first glance, this hike seemed straightforward, but Null underestimated the challenges posed by the aftermath of the Bobcat fire, which had destroyed trails and signage. Burn zones like this are deceptive. The lack of vegetation creates a barren, open landscape, but it's fraught with dangers. Loose rocks, unstable trees, and scarce water sources. Null got lost and spent 5 agonizing days navigating this treacherous terrain. Searchers scoured the area, but the lack of trail markers made their efforts even harder. On the 5th day, a helicopter decided to survey Bear Creek, a remote and rarely visited area. Against all odds, they spotted Null. Though dirty and famished, he was alive and relatively unharmed, a testament to his survival skills and determination. His rescue underscores a critical point. No matter how prepared or experienced you are, nature can throw curveballs that test your limits. Knowing how to improvise, stay calm, and push forward can be the difference between life and death. These 3 stories share a common thread: survival in the face of the impossible. Each hiker faced different challenges: brutal cold, scorching heat, and disorienting wilderness. But they all overcame through resilience, quick thinking, and perhaps a touch of luck. If you enjoyed these stories of survival and want to hear more incredible tales, don't forget to like this video, comment with your favorite part, and let me know which story blew your mind the most. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon so you don't miss any future content. Your support means the world to me and helps bring more amazing stories like these to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.